Streams are up.
Oi, oi. Very nice.
We're live, but once again, Luke is like letting a dog in or something into the loop.
Yeah. Who we got in?
Yo! First.
Oh, where do we see? How do I see stuff?
Right, on your right-hand side, click on comments on the right-hand side.
I'm on it. Nice.
Yeah. You can see what everyone's saying about you when they're all
Yo-Yo was number one. I saw this. I checked it out this morning.
That's unbelievable.
Hey, Lucy.
Lucy's
I'm
fuming.
first going to try and get it whilst watching all the sales we had on holiday. 16 sales, good sales as well. Yes, Lucy. While you're away as well. Beautiful people. Who's on the toilet then? Wait, what? No, I was just putting the chair out.
There's Chris Brown song there, by the way, from Secret Carper.
What's that?
Oh, beautiful people.
Lads. Morning, Michelle. Limelight, always in.
Come on, Chris.
Morning, Chris. We've got Joe in. Oh, mate. This morning, who we got on?
Where do we start? Because I still feel a little bit ropey, but I got back home. I was sensible. I got back home and Mr. Troubles and Simon at 12:30, 1 o'clock. Yeah. And yeah, what about you boys? What time did you arrive back at the Airbnb, considering the alarm was set for 7 a.m.?
I still feel tired.
I feel like my world's changed. I didn't even know how to explain it. I don't know. What time? I think I got back at 4 something. I don't know what time.
He was so adamant. Like, I was like, mate, I go to bed about 8, half 8, and it's nearly 2 in the morning. I was like, I've never seen this part. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not meant for this. I was like, I need to go back. He was like, no, we're here till 5. He goes, I don't care what you say, what you do.
I can hear him saying
in this place till 5. And then they got Georgie like running around as well. Like, it was meant. What
Georgie,
an event!
He was last man standing with me, Georgie. Me and him got an Uber home. It was so weird. We got an Uber home together, and the eBay reps gave him 50 quid.
Yeah, explain this. Like, what actually happened?
He said that on his live. Was that £50 to gamble with, or was that to get a taxi back?
Out of the casino, and we walked out the doors, and me and Georgie were sitting waiting for our Uber, and these eBay reps came past and went, "Are you George?" And then he went, "Yeah," and they were like, "Oh, I've seen you around or on Insta or whatever." And he said, look at this. And George put his hand out. And the guy started counting money into his hand. From the and then he just gave him 50 quid to keep. And so I was like, I'm not paying you for the Uber home. That's free.
This is amazing. No, but overall, boys, what a good day. We'll speak about it, I'm sure, in detail. But just to go there and meet up with, I mean, I've met both of you two in person, so that didn't matter. I met Simon in person, but like Mr. Charles Arwin, loads of other people. I saw Kaylee in the chat, just loads. Jamie Dodger, know him. Chris, who's on the pod, just loads of good people there to actually go and spend some time with and just connect and have a laugh with, have a joke with. Yeah, it was cool. What was your guys' thoughts?
I had a great time. Like I went fully expecting to not really look at anything to eBay and just kind of interact with all the people I'd been talking to online, and it was people were better in person, to be honest with you. It was great. I was genuinely really happy to meet everyone, and I think it was really good fun, to be honest. It felt so different though. I don't know how to explain it. Like seeing people on the computer that you interact with every single week, and then having everyone like in front of you. It's just such a completely different dynamic. It was so cool.
I thought it was crazy. Like, and what you just said there, it sounds weird. You was like, people are way better in person. Like I've said on here week after week, I was like, I can't wait for like in-person stuff. And then we get to it and people were so much better, like way better in person than just chatting on a Zoom or a StreamYard or anything like that. But I went to Birmingham 2 years ago, which apparently was in a completely different building. And then I went to London the previous year with you, James. But Benjy, it was your first one. So you've come in and you've been like straight away, because all 3 of the events I went to, my approach and who I knew was so different. Whereas this one, you've come in and you've known quite a lot of people there already. So, I mean, I went to one talk. I went to the welcome talk and then see a little bit of the eBay awards. And then after that, I was just in the food bit where the big tables were. We just sat around talking the whole time. Apart from we went to the Airbnb. So I have little experience with this event, but yeah, I just wanted to talk as much as we possibly could about it.
It's funny to have us come and do a recap of it because we probably experienced very little of what they actually had to offer as such, except for food and drink and a fucking tornado of balls. That was about all we experienced the whole day.
Yeah, so the day highlights for us was, where's the coffee? Why is there still no coffee? When's the coffee coming out? Oh, lunch is served. Let's eat some lunch. When's the bar open? That was literally our thought process of the day. But I've learned a lot. Do you know what? Funny enough, I've learned a lot the day after and the day after with regards to what was mentioned at the Open, because I gave Tech a little bit of a recap yesterday in his morning call in the group. And Benji, I'm not sure whether you know this. You know the Pro Trader Plus thing they were promoting? Where's my hold on.
You got
Well, that one, yeah?
The cup that I took.
Right.
I didn't go for the talk, but I went for the cup. You know they're charging for this, and it's £399 plus VAT. Hold on, a month. And not just that, Benji, my boy, you have to commit for 3 months.
Why? What does it do?
You get the one-to-one support thing, basically. I don't think Pro Trader Plus, the cup's nice though. I like the cup.
It's basically what I went on, and then they asked us at the end of it, because it was free at the time, and then they said, what value would you put on this per month? And I said between like £15 and £20 per month. And then I think people that have gone on it as well, they said around similar, maybe slightly higher. There's no way you'd pay more than 20 quid a month for it though. And then after all of that, so like plus VAT, what are you talking? Say if you're signed up for 3 months, you're like well over £1,000. That's mad. You get a little bit of advice, you get put into the co-funded coupons, you get put into the sales, but like like to be honest, it's incredibly basic. So to pay 400 quid a month is criminal.
What do they think their value is? Like, what value do they think they're adding that warrants, 400 quid a month? Because that to me says, oh, we're going to up your sales. You're going to get me earning way more money. And what do they think they're offering with that? I don't get it. I don't know how they've justified putting that price tag on it.
Luke, sharing the screen that I've just put into StreamYard. So this is on the eBay page, and this is what I was showing in text call yesterday. Because I couldn't believe it. I think it was Michelle who came up to me who said,
smashing it, mate.
There we are. Michelle said to me that, it's going to be like £400 a month. And I was like, Michelle, I know you're not drinking today, but you must have had a couple to say that. And then this is on the website now. So what they're saying here, this is the eligibility, which cracked me up yesterday. So you have to be registered on eBay UK. Well, okay, I've ticked that box. You have to be at least above standard on your rating. Okay. Now, this part is great. You have achieved a reasonable gross merchandise value, the GMV, for their business as determined by eBay. And reasonable. So they're not telling you what that looks like, okay? Opt in and are accepted by eBay. So if you opt in, eBay might reject you. And then accepted business sellers will be charged a monthly fee of $399 plus the VAT. And by joining the program, you agree to commit to a minimum period of 3 months. So you're £12,000 plus VAT in to sign up, and you have to be accepted by eBay. But I guarantee anyone who signs up by clicking this apply now button, I guarantee if you apply, you will get in.
They will get the money.
But just madness. Madness for me.
I'm with Yo-Yo. If they, I don't know if you can put it up, Luke, but if they allow you to lower your fees to like become part of that, it makes sense. Apart from that, I can't imagine there's any justification as to why you'd want that, because you get a concierge in Pro Trader Plus, right? And in a higher store subscription, don't you get a concierge as well?
Yeah, so in the higher store subscription, you get someone who you can basically, when you call through, you go through to someone. Basically.
Yeah, which is like the same thing. So funnily enough, my eBay rep at the Open said he was someone that normally works with higher tier sellers, right? That is a concierge and a consultant for them, and basically does the training, that they do on Pro Trader Plus and all that stuff. So I don't see how he's going to be. They're basically going to take those people that are already doing that job and move them to there. It's going to be no different, I assume. It's not like
Michelle saying, just chatting with the rep and asked if they're doing my listings for 400 quid a month. Yeah, that's crazy. I think you'd be absolutely gutted if you'd done that. I don't know, like it'd have to be an incredible amount of value, and I just can't see them delivering on anywhere near that. So, I mean, when I was in it, all that I got told, because I would look at the quality listing report regularly, because one part of it was about the they would always say about white background, because mine's like a light grey background, and they said that it would disrupt listings on Google. And there was a section on the quality listing report that said basically if it had been rejected or not. And I think it was like 4 listings out of maybe 2,000 that got rejected. And I was like, well, this kind of proves it, doesn't it? And it was like, well, yeah, you can probably still carry on. So I was like, okay, apart from that, what else do I need to do? Because the title structure was good, the pictures was good, the amount was good, everything was good. Pricing was like, at that time, probably okay. But then they said free postage. And I was like, it's just these like little tick boxes. But other than that, there was nothing really else apart from the co-funded coupons and the sales, which are good, but they stack. So if you're going into a sale and you've got a coupon on, and then you go into an eBay one, then if you put your one on, say I've got 10% on at the minute, but at the minute they're running a 15%, which I was completely unaware of because you accept the contract quite a way back. And then they stack, so they can put double on. So I've had stuff selling yesterday that there's no way I would be selling it at that price. So you have to be careful sometimes.
Mad.
It's the trades. Caught in that box around the event.
What a guy, by the way. First time meeting him, but such a funny guy. Him and Gigi was so great. But yeah, carrying around that box the whole time was absolute crease. Because Benjy, you won the prize as well. Yeah. And they said to you, you can either take it now or we'll deliver it to you for free. And Benjy was like, yeah, send it to me. Tommy's like, I'm taking it now.
I originally was going to take it at the end of the day. It was funny. Tommy could have at least picked it up at the end of the day. He carried it around the whole day.
Yeah.
And then I got to the end of the day. I was like, I'm going out. I don't want to be carrying this around. I'm going out. And they literally gave me a call yesterday morning. Like, what's your address? And we'll send it to you now. So it's on the way. They haven't scammed me, which is nice. So I'm looking forward to that. Tommy, have you opened it? Are you straight to sell it? That's what I want to know.
He's selling that all day long.
What I will say as well, I think Tommy may have won on his first attempt. Benjy, you had 2 attempts, man. You were cheating the system to try and win it.
Yeah, I cheated. I wouldn't have gone again except they encouraged me to. They were like, "Oh yeah, you got to have."
They were like giving it away, yeah.
And I was like, "Sure, let's go." I don't know if they thought they weren't going to get anyone because no one was in there when we were in there. So, and then obviously everyone showed up later. But yeah, I was the first person to win, and they encouraged me to go again, so I did. Which is great.
So what did you have to do? Explain to him what you had to do. So it was that big dome thing, wasn't it? So you was in basically like a.
If anyone's ever seen those, you randomly see them places like those. The one I know like distinctly is you see it on TV shows and stuff. It's like a cash tornado, where they spin money around you and you stand in like a cylinder and they spin money around you. You've got to grab as much money as you can to win it. But this was like different, where they had foam balls spin around you and there's 2 different colors. One was orange and one was white. And basically the orange you scored points for and the white you lost points for. And you had, what was it, a minute, 30 seconds? I can't remember.
30 seconds, I think.
And you had to basically get as many orange balls in the little container as possible. And if you got over 20 in there, then you won the big prize. And then there was like tiers for each other prize.
It was good. It was good fun seeing people do it. We saw so many people go in there and do it. And I think Simon was one of the first ones who we knew who got in there. And I thought he absolutely killed it. He didn't. I think he won a voucher. And then Thrifty Georgie won like the blender small machine. That's refurbished, but I think the one you won was actually new.
You think?
I think so, because I remember seeing the sign and I'm sure it said that George's one was refurbished, but yours is new. So Yeah, look into that before you sell it.
Was it the new one that was 180, or was that the refurbished one?
New one.
The new one was 180. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
mad. Have you watched Simon's vlog yet?
Yeah, mate, you go. It's so funny.
That's a funny thing. What's the shadow boxing about? I think for the first 4 clips of you, you're just like shadow boxing.
Mate, I have no idea, because we started doing it on here one time, and I was like, but mate, I was just staring in Simon's face, and we were just dying, because he even brought the massive tripod. Do you remember seeing him get that out?
Yeah.
And he put it next to the table. But yeah, overall, like, I would say it was such a different event to what I'd been to before. The first Birmingham one 2 years back, I went by myself, didn't know anyone, and I was just trying to get on that pro trader program. You know, the one they're charging £400 a month for now. That one, yeah. And then the second one was like, I knew a couple of people, but we went into quite a few talks. I think we went into maybe, actually, to be fair, James, I probably went into like 3 or 4. But the thing is, with their first 2 events, everything was eBay. The whole like building was dedicated to eBay. Whereas we went into the NEC. Bearing in mind, if you haven't been there, this place is gigantic. So there was a small section of the whole building that was dedicated to eBay, and the rest was like different stuff. But yeah, London, the year before that, Birmingham, everything was eBay related. But what did you enjoy about the event, and what do you think that could have been done a bit better? I know we was like went to limited stuff.
Well, the stuff that I did go to it, I think the 2 things that I thought were important to go to generally was the what's it called, the basic regulatory one, because obviously we've got this new thing coming in where we need to put in all the information about brand and who to contact if you've got a problem and stuff like that. And then the other one was going to be the fashion one, which I did end up missing because I think I was in my eBay rep meeting. And because obviously you've got Vinted coming out, and we kind of want to hear what they're going to do with that and all the free fees and blah, 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 blah. And from the regulatory one I went to, they basically knew nothing. So people were asking questions about, oh, how is this going to impact GSP? And their answer was, I don't know. I like, we've come to the regulatory thing where they've told us to do all this stuff, and they don't know how it's going to impact us yet. And even for like just UK based stuff, they were just saying, okay, just fill out the box if you can. If you don't have the information, it's fine. I think Andrew put his hand up and like, I sell old stuff that doesn't have companies, like they don't exist anymore. And they're like, oh, if you can, just do it. If you can't, don't worry about it. As long as, it's a regulatory thing, they only care about safety, really. As long as you're not doing something that's going to flag up with them as such, then they're probably not going to be that bothered. But in terms of actual answers for what this meant for eBay sellers, they didn't have an answer. They did the same sort of thing as watch this space, but we'll get back to you is what they said. I'm not sure when they're going to get back to us, but that was their approach there. And then I heard in the fashion call that they kind of just got grilled and again didn't have any answers to the questions kind of being asked, and it wasn't the best. But overall, in typical eBay fashion, they didn't have any conclusive answers for anyone. It is what I've heard.
First of all, with this regulatory stuff, this is something that a lot of people are like really concerned about and really worried about. And we spoke about it probably maybe like 3 or 4 weeks back now. We went through the actual drop downs, and then I think I spoke to Josh, who was at the event. Shout out to Josh. He won the award as well. So yeah, great guy. But yeah, he was amazing. But yeah, I spoke to Josh about this, and he was like, you can just turn it off. So like turn it off, or maybe filter it to the places that doesn't really require it. So yeah, this is concerning people. So you went to a talk, and the thing is, like, are we supposed to now just go and get this information, then fill it out? Was there no ease of doing this? Like, is there nothing that they're bringing in to make this more simple? Because, like, I don't necessarily want to turn everything off. So is there going to be an easy way to do this?
I don't even think it matters if you turn it off, because I think it's a UK-based thing as well. So this isn't just about European shipping. This is like we're, as part of Europe, not the EU though, we have to add this in terms of trade. So I think even if you're putting it out to the UK, from what I understood, I missed the first part because I was watching Josh get his award, which was obviously worthwhile. But so I'm not 100% sure if they've got any automatic stuff that's going to help you. But generally, from what I heard, there's no super easy thing that they're introducing, like a drop down menu of, you know, all the contacts and stuff like that would be pretty helpful. But I didn't hear anything like that. They just said, if you've got the information, put it in. If you don't, leave it. And they didn't seem too bothered. Like, they didn't seem like they were going to, like, this was going to be hugely mandatory and force it. They were just kind of figuring it out themselves. So I think it will happen over time. So but we'll see.
It sounds a little bit like that whole Germany thing. Do you remember the German postage thing where they announced it? A lot of people panicked and took off Germany off GSP. A lot of people were stressing, trying to find out all the information of what you need to do to fill in the form. And a lot of people, like myself, didn't do anything and have had no issues since. So I wonder whether it's one of these things where the fact that eBay are saying, if you have the information, fill it in. If you don't, oh, don't worry about it. It's kind of one of the things that a lot of people are just going to say, I just don't worry about it. It's what it is. But what's your thoughts at this stage? Do you plan to fill the information in, or do you plan to switch off GSP? What's your thoughts at the moment?
I don't think we have a choice. Like, I think generally I'm just going to leave it until it flags up, right? Until they start being like, in terms, you know how when you miss a part on the listing that's mandatory and they're like, oh, you have to fill this in. You can't list this without it being filled in. My plan is to just go that way at the moment until they like flag it as a mandatory section that you need to fill out. I guess it's on them to kind of figure it out. So I'm just going to leave it and hope for the best is my guess. I don't think switching GSP off is going to help because it's a UK thing as well. So I think we just are going to have to deal with it if it comes, and hopefully by then and they figure it out and make it a bit easier for us all, because else it's just going to be a mess. And I'm not even sure how you're meant to find the information. I don't know if I missed that at the start of their talk, but I don't even know where to go to look for the right person to contact. Do you just put the general? So say if I've got a Ralph Lauren jumper, do I just put the contact number for the Ralph Lauren, you know, on their website page, or do I have to find someone specific? I don't really know. I don't really get it.
I mean, when they were speaking about making things easier, if there was, say, like a it'd still be a pain in the ass, but say if there was like a directory or like a specific page where it had, so like all the brands. I say all the brands. I mean, how many would have to be on that? Jesus Christ! But yeah, if there was something just to make it a little bit easier, then I'm happy jumping through maybe one more loop, because I mean, at the end of the day, it cuts more people out that aren't willing to do it. But do you think this is going to be a nightmare for everything sellers? Because say if you're niche down, if you're selling similar, say like me, like I only really sell, I mean, I sell probably the same 20, 30 brands. Sometimes I venture out a little bit as well. But when you're selling similar, obviously you're bringing over the same information. And when you're niche, you're just bringing over the same stuff. Whereas if you're going out and buying everything, and then you've got to then find this information, do you think it's going to be a bit of a nightmare for that?
What I'm actually just thinking now, the easiest thing they could possibly do is, as soon as you put in the brand, right, it just autofills with the brand information. Like whatever the whole directory of brands, all they need to do is attach contact information, like then autofill it, and then you're good. That's it. They've done it for you, and that's the easiest solution in my head. But in terms of the people who have to, you know, put in brands that don't exist on the directory from the drop down, like everything sellers do a lot of the time, then I think it's going to be a massive pain. And unless you're doing something old, like someone asked, they said they do like stamps and crochet patterns and stuff like that. They were like, yeah, just don't worry about it. Again, it's stuff that they think's going to be unsafe, which again, with everything sellers, but might be a lot more than with, you know, us clothing sellers. You know, my jumper's not going to hurt anyone, whereas my electrical goods, you know, frying someone might be a bit different. So I think we're probably in a safer zone, but everything sellers are going to have a lot more stuff to deal with in terms of navigating that, in my opinion.
I think there'll be a company as well that comes out that does it all for you, similar to like a zip sale kind of company with cross-listing, that kind of thing. So there'll be a company where you can pay them, I don't know, £10 a month subscription, and it's automatically done on your listings. Because I agree with you saying, Benjy, it'd be very easy for eBay to have an AI system in place to auto-populate that information. Like you say, if you type in Ralph Lauren in your title, or even on the drop-down of the brand, it automatically fills that information in. It'd be very simple to do. And hey, look, this thing's 3 or 4 months away, isn't it? It's coming in December time. So I'm not making any changes right now. A few people have said to me they're switching it off now. And I'm like, why would you switch it off now? You don't have to do anything at this point. But nearer the time, I'll make my decision, because if we're having to manually fill this in every single time, that sounds like an absolute nightmare to me.
They did say get as much done as you can now because it will make life easier. So they said do it now if you can. Was I think a general theme they took away from it. But again, I don't know what that means or how to do it at this point. I don't exactly know what they want us to do. But that's what they had. Their idea. And I'm with you, James. I'm just going to leave it until, it comes to call and they're like, oh, yeah, now you can't sell without having this. And they're like, okay, well, we'll deal with it now.
I think what you're saying about just it already being in the drop down. So say like you select Ralph Lauren, it's already there. That's gonna make things a lot easier. But I don't think it'll be like that. And what Yo-Yo's just said, as much as he like talks a load of crap in this side chat, I love the guy sometimes, and he does put stuff in my head. He said here, why would manufacturers agree to give the information to people that are not authorized resellers? Could you ever see it going down the route where you can't access the information unless you're an authorized reseller?
He's right. It would be it. Imagine being that guy, the guy that they give your contact info to contact, and you give it to the whole public. You know how they hide customer service numbers? Like, imagine being that one guy you're meant to contact somewhere, and everyone is contacting you because your information's on eBay. Like, it would be a massive pain. It'd be interesting to see how they do it. I don't know if companies are going to have to set up another customer service team to deal with something like this. Because if it's one guy getting a load of emails and phone calls about unsafe products, it's going to be a massive pain for them. So it makes sense. Also, I don't know if you saw Yo-Yo. He said he stalked us at the Open earlier. He was there in the shadows. It'd be so funny if he was there and we talked.
I really wish he was there. I would have loved to. Do you know what? That would have made my open if he came up to me and just whispered, "I'm Yo-Yo."
We said that, didn't we? It was like, if someone comes up to us and says it.
Yeah, it would have actually made my world. But
what do you talk to him? You might have talked to him. You don't even know. He could have been anyone.
I still think
we would know.
Yeah, I still think Joe.
Just the way he spoke.
I've lost my train of thought. What I was going to say about that situation. Yeah.
No, you're good. Let's see what Tommy's saying. Interested to know what they would want to know if it's Transformer, Mattel, Hasbro. I think probably the brand. But then again, I mean, the licensing would be Transformer. So I don't know how they're going to go about it really. But are we overthinking this massively? Because if you're saying that eBay's not that concerned, like, do you just think it's them not having the knowledge around it? So they're just like, they just don't really know what to say, or do you just think it's not a stressful situation? Like,
but
it will be all right.
By what I heard, it sounded like they didn't have the knowledge. Okay. Like they didn't quite know how this was going to work themselves. I think in Tommy's case, I think the manufacturer is going to be the thing that comes with the safety, problems or whatever. So I reckon it's probably going to be whoever made the item, like you said, because that just makes sense, because it's their fault with the safety. But yeah, they definitely emphasize the fact this is about safety. They just want the information to make anyone that has safety concerns better known. So again, it might not even impact us that hard. Depends who you are, but we'll see. Is the answer? That's what they said as well. Basically, we'll get back to you.
You also have to remember as well, these reps at the events have to be so careful about what they say from a legal perspective as well. So during these chats here, if one of the reps actually said to you, do you know what, like, it ain't going to matter, don't worry about filling it out. If that information got out into the wider public, like, for them, there's their job gone and risk to eBay as a business. So I think sometimes at these events as well, I have to remember that they're probably told what they can and can't tell you. So where they're saying, like, we'll get back to you, they probably know all of these answers, but they probably don't want to be the one to tell you. Because in them chats as well, and I've seen it before in the chats where it gets to the Q&A, and I think it happened at this Q&A as well, where you chuck them some tough questions, blah, 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 blah. And the eBay reps are standing there like, whoa, like, I don't know how to answer that in the right way. Like, I've got my own opinion on it. Like, they probably agree with us a lot of the time. Like, if you spoke to an eBay rep off the record, they would probably say this whole new thing's ridiculous. Like, eBay should be automating it. But from a company perspective, they're going to tell you the company line for it as well. But it opens up the door for someone to do that YouTube video of, is this the end to eBay? Because like Luke said, I agree. Yo-Yo normally talks a lot of bollocks, but he made a good point with regards to the information. If the company's done that, are the companies then going to use this as the point of, do you know what? Why don't we start selling the pre-owned stuff? Why don't we get our customers to send it back to us? And a lot of companies already do that scheme as well. So, yeah, someone did a YouTube video. This is the end of eBay. It's going to get views.
I can't remember who I was talking to that they thought, I think it might have been Josh, I'm not sure, that eBay was going to go that way, and that basically more and more people are going to, like, more and more brands are going to start up the secondhand buyback type program and make loads more money from it. I actually can't remember who to talking to, so apologies if it wasn't Josh. But it was interesting because it was like, you're going to have to set up a massive second-hand market for your own company. You're gonna have to employ a load of people to come in and basically buy back your clothes and resell them yourself. Because someone was, whoever said it was right. They were like, oh, they're missing. Imagine how much money they're missing out on in the resale market of their own clothing, which is crazy. And I was like, because their margins on the clothes they make are obviously big, but the margins on secondhand clothes are big as well. Like, it's not like they don't have space to buy it and sell it again, especially if they do something, like Music Magpie have bought out, but for their own clothing. So they give better prices. But if that happens and that starts taking over that way, it's going to be a real problem. But even if you say another company comes in like Vinted, right? What they're going to have to probably end up doing the same thing, I imagine, as this, because this isn't an eBay thing. This is a EU regulatory thing. So if any company is going to have to do it, I imagine. So we'll see how long it takes to, branch out.
This is what I was going to say. I was like, is this going to cross over to that as well? But if it's a regulatory thing, then it automatically does. But the things with Vinted, one of like the key USPs is ease of listing, and it kind of takes that away from this. But yeah. No, it's a difficult one, but I'm interested to see where it goes. But talking about that, the buyback schemes, it just makes a ton of sense, because if you can sell the same item twice, I mean, yeah, the margins, I wouldn't even say they're probably that big the first sale, but they've just got volume. But selling it again is crazy, because I know Levi's, I know Patagonia do it. There's probably so many more brands, especially in America, that do it. But I think I was worried about this probably about a year, maybe 2 years ago. I was like really concerned, because I think Tech on one of his podcasts said about one day, he reckons in like the next 5-10 years or something like that it will go through like government, that basically brands will clamp down on people selling their brands on eBay, and they'll be issuing more Veros, and it will get to a point where it's just them selling their own pre-owned stuff. So I think we've got a long way to go before anything like that happens, but things getting stricter, possibly, because I mean, there's a select few brands that you see it and say stuff like Velcro, when you list like that, they're very heavy on it, but I don't know.
I find that so funny. Like, out of everyone that could be super harsh on using their name, Velcro is like, now we're having none of it. You're hook and loop, and you're nothing else to us.
They've been like that for years, though. I mean, they've even done like a TV commercial one time, basically saying like, it's our name, like, not yours. Like, stop using it. So they're very strict on that. But you mentioned earlier, put it in there. No, don't. There goes the.
We're gonna get copyright.
There goes the money that Luke was going to earn. But yeah, you said the Music Magpie earlier, and they're now doing clothing, which is nuts to me. So
have you seen what they're doing?
I've just been on the website. You can send in any North Face, a North Face men's coat, in excellent condition. They'll offer you £3.96.
What?
Any
on
North
a coat?
Face, any North Face coat, £3.96 for men's North Face. Just for the shits and giggles, Art Treks, yeah.
£4.
Oh, they haven't even got that on there yet.
They did. I saw someone posted it. They said someone did an Arc'teryx jacket. It was like £4.38.
Oh, okay. Well, there we are then. So yeah, music
long way off.
are now the new competitors as well. So you've got to watch out for them.
Absolutely mad.
Yeah, I don't think you got nothing to worry about there. But I was going to say also, because you went into the clothing call, like you said they was getting grilled. Why was they getting grilled? And what was
I
people
didn't
asking?
manage to make my way in. So other people went in and were like, oh yeah, there was this one woman at the front that was just asking questions. And apparently, again, they didn't have answers as usual. And it was a bit of a mess. And people were saying they did not deal with it well at all, from what I heard. Apparently, there was only one question about Vinted. I don't know if anyone in the comments, I don't know if Kaylee's still here because I know she was in there. But I don't know if anyone's got more information on it. But apparently they just got grilled. And again, they didn't handle it well, which is not surprising because I don't even know what leg eBay have to stand on in terms of clothing anymore. Like, except for GSP, I think men's clothing's still good. But in terms of where women's is going and kind of the patterns you're seeing, I don't know what they've got to stand on. I don't know what they can offer or say to make you think that they're going to pull it back, unless they just buy Vinted, like unless they just put their money on the table and be like, "Yo, we're taking you." But even I don't know if Vinted would give it up, to be honest with you. So
did you speak to any of the reps about Vinted? Because I had a chat with a couple of reps and just said to them, "Look, what's your thoughts on this?" Because we know it's coming. We know Pro's coming. We thought it was going to come on the day of that event, but we know from all rumors it's coming next month. And I said to him, what's your thoughts? And the feedback from both reps was very similar. Again, I don't know whether this like the company line, but they were very complimentary of Vinted. They recognize the app is very easy to list on, but the same line ended with, we're not worried. We're not concerned, which for me, I was like, you have to be concerned because we've seen some of the results on Vinted already at this stage. So when Pro comes out, it's probably going to get a lot worse for eBay. But did you speak to any of the reps or hear? I didn't really hear much mentioned about Vinted. And I know we're at an eBay event, they might not talk about a competitor, but you would think they would kind of address it to say we're aware of this competition and we're going to still remain number one.
I heard nothing. So I'm not gonna lie to you, James. I was the same as you. I was in the lunch hall for the majority of the day.
Yeah, of course.
Chatting to eBay folk rather than reps. And again, I didn't see much of them outside of my meeting, which was surprisingly good, by the way. Even though I was told my meeting wouldn't be good, the guy I talked to was very insightful. But I didn't talk to any eBay reps outside of that, so I'm probably not the best person to ask.
Talk about your meeting then, because you said it was good, and I went to one last time, and I was like, what a load of crap, to be fair.
So I went in and told him I expected it to be bad. It's the first thing I did. I was like, okay, here's what I know, and then you can correct me or give me some information that I don't know. So I was like, this is what I've heard, and this is what I heard you guys promote, and I know all that. It's not helpful to me. What is some other stuff I can do to actually change and increase my sales? And the first thing he did is they checked your promotions. He sort of checked if you had a coupon on and blah, blah. And I explained, no, I don't want to do a coupon because that's just automatically losing money. I don't need to. It's because it auto applies now. Although it used to be a small conversion thing for buyers that maybe just wanted a discount on your item. If they still want your item, they can just send you an offer. It doesn't matter that much. Yeah. And all it does is, if I've got a 10% coupon on, is make me lose 10% across the board for most of the stuff I wouldn't need to. And he was like, okay. He saw I had a 3 for 20 buy 3 get 20% off offer on, and he was like, this is the old system that you're using for this discount. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, basically, you can. There's two things you can do: a discount, a buying discount, I think, in the promotions. I can't remember what it's called exactly. And you can do a coupon. And he said one of them appears on the eBay search. The coupon appears under the eBay search. You get the red bar saying, "Oh, this has got this offer on it." There's a multi-quantity, multi-purchase offer, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't know. He was like, you can do this same deal through a coupon, and it will appear and be a draw to your listing because you'll have the red bar underneath on the search. And I was like, that's really, really interesting because I didn't know that. And it also makes a lot of sense in terms of drawing people in. The other thing you showed me, I don't know if you guys have ever looked at this, is there is a shop traffic section on your store on the drop down now. It's new and it's shop traffic, and it shows you how many visitors you get to your store. And over the last month, it says I've had 3,000. And I don't know if that's just I don't know what they count, if it's like actually clicking on your store, or it's just like a visit to your listing counts as a visit to your store, right? But from what I saw, it seems to be actual clicks on your store. And I was like, that is way more clicks on my store than I thought I was getting. Like in terms of people like clicking through and checking my other stuff. 3,000 a month feels crazy to me. So I don't know how they're counting it. But it's basically like, if you have the offer on to draw people in to the listing, and they know you have a multi-buy listing because it's more apparent when it's through a coupon, then they're also going to browse to your store more, looking for more stuff to fulfill that offer. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense, and that's really interesting because it although I don't get that many people using my coupon now for the 3 for 20, that could definitely help increase that conversion to having more people multi-buy from me, which would be good. And generally, he said, also make your store look a little bit better because people are looking at it. And that kind of changed my perspective on how people are browsing a bit, which was really interesting to me. And the second thing...
Sorry to interrupt. Just on that one, I've looked at my shop traffic there. That's very interesting because I sent out a newsletter on the 10th of September, Tuesday, and it was all about Halloween, naturally. And my shop visits on the 9th were 207. On the 10th were 361. On the 11th, 211. So I had a spike of over 100 more people coming to my shop on the day I sent the newsletter. So that also tells me I need to start sending the newsletters daily, like I've been saying for the last 2 years.
That's what he said to me as well, right? Because he's like, oh, do you want to do a newsletter? And I was like, people do the newsletters and they don't seem to have a great conversion rate. And he was like, look, if you just, whenever you do a new promotion or whatever, let these people know there's no harm. And he's like, you've got, I think he said like 2,000 people that are previous buyers or follow your store. You might as well let them know when you're doing a promotion, they'll drive you to the store. Like if you're doing a discount or you're doing something like that, let people know that are previous buyers to you because they'll be interested.
Where does it say store traffic then? Which part? Is it on the overall traffic tab?
No, if you go to the top.
Shop traffic.
Yeah, shop and then shop traffic drop down.
Oh, no.
It's interesting, isn't it?
That was cool to look at, considering I was like, why is there that big spike? And I looked and it was the day the newsletter went out.
Okay, so that's showing basically that newsletters are having some sort of effect. Are you looking at it, say, per date, or are you looking at it for the week or the month? Or
Well, I just looked at the base view and it says for the month right at the top. Like it says,
last 31 days.
Visits I've got 3,447, which seems crazy to me. To my actual shop, like seems crazy. And it really changes my perspective on how people are engaging with my items. Because I was always of the opinion that people are searching and looking for my items that way, right? That's how they're finding. That's how they're finding the majority of my listings. But 3,000 people a month looking at my shop for more stuff and searching differently makes me want to put more effort into my store, because I'm like, oh, if people are seeing this. He also said in my store layout, I don't have my offer pop up on my store. He's like, you can have your offer come up in a bar in the middle of your store. So when people are coming to visit, and you've got this big bar in the middle saying buy 3, get 20% off, then again, another thing that's more likely to convert a multi-deal. And I was like, that's really interesting.
I'm definitely not utilizing this anywhere near as much as I should be. Nowhere near. I mean, Kaylee, even there, newsletters forever. I think I've used them 3 times the entire time. Like nothing. And then you, James, you said you obviously put a fair bit of effort into yours as well. And you said the traffic, what did it jump up by X% or like?
Well, I sent you a picture of the newsletter because it's the most cringy thing ever. And
it was good though.
Because obviously I've got all the Halloween costume stuff. So I was like, right, let's do it around Halloween and stuff. New stuff in the store. I think I've done a 10% off the Halloween stuff as well, like a coupon. And I literally went on to Claude AI, which is like ChatGPT, and just typed in, write me a creative sales newsletter around Halloween. And it came up with that. I mean, I took out some more of the cringe, but I thought it was like quite good. And all in all, that took me 2 minutes in total to do the whole thing, which is no time whatsoever. You can do that during your morning coffee. I was going to say something else.
Go on, read it.
It's very easy to do. It's just it's one of them tasks that I always forget to do. Like since that newsletter, I've not done another one since, and it's been a week. I should have been all over that every single day promoting Halloween.
I think there's like Luke doing marketing before, right? There's only so much outreach you can do to someone before they get like desensitized. So if you're dropping someone, a newsletter every single day, and Tommy said it in the chat, yeah,
this is what I wanted to get up, yeah.
They don't want to be reached out to every single day, and if you reach out to them every single day, it's annoying. Like they're just like, leave me alone. I get it, Mr. Fines. You do Halloween stuff now.
Yeah, you're desperate to get Halloween stuff, Mr. Fine. But it doesn't go to the thing is, like Tommy's saying, that eBay limits it. So if I send out a newsletter every single day this week, you might receive one, Benjy, on Monday. Tommy will get one on Wednesday. Luke might get one on Friday. So Luke's not going to see it every single day. So eBay actually limits the amount of emails to that customer, because you can think about yourself. I follow Luke's store. Okay, I received Luke's coupon probably twice a month. I don't receive that coupon thing every single day. Twice a month I get it, because they don't want me to get so pissed off with Luke. All right, mate, I get it. You've got an eBay store. You got 25% off, whatever it is. Like, they don't want me to unsubscribe from Luke's store, so they limit the views. So that's similar with the newsletter. So do you feel that if you've got, say, 2,000 people who follow your store, for instance, do you not want to do it on a daily basis? Because then at some point you would have catched every single customer, because you're not going to catch 2,000 on day one and then day two hit the 2,000 again. You might only hit 50 on day one. Day two, you're going to hit another 100. So eBay's quite good at limiting the amount of communication the customer gets.
I wonder how they do it. I wonder if, so basically, say I did a newsletter day to my 2,000 people and I want everyone to see it. Do you think they basically go, oh, we'll only get, okay, so did they decide that they only give a certain amount of people who haven't had a newsletter from another business in a while your newsletter? Yeah, so that, like, because they don't want to overwhelm them. Or do they go, okay, what we'll do is we'll take this newsletter and spread it out to different people every single day. So they keep sending the newsletter you sent out on day one, but they basically send it over time to everyone to make it kind of work like that. Because then it wouldn't matter really if you send it every single day or you sent it once and they basically took their time to give it to the right person at the right time. So I have no idea how it works.
It's like the drip feed. And I mean, if you look at your messages, apart from the messages you get from eBay, and normally the messages are you've had an offer and this item is sold, or a customer question, how many messages in your inbox on a daily basis you get from another seller? So you must follow some stores as well. So for instance, if you followed my store, how many communications you get from me a month?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I didn't even know.
So when you look into it, it's so limited, the amount of communication. Because I probably follow about 20 stores and I don't get messages from them every day.
Wait, where do you even see this? From eBay?
Yes, if you go onto your messages, if you go from members, for instance.
I don't think I've ever had one.
Yeah, if I look here, most of the stuff I get through is from customers. But when Luke sent me out his offer, it went into that box as well. Or it might have been from eBay, that one.
When you look at your buyer groups, though, when you see the total reach from them, it's like, yeah, it's nowhere near what you think it would be. I mean, I send them out every single day, and so you have the different categories. You have the less than 31 days, you have more than 31 days, 3 months, 6 months, and then you have your followers. So less than 31 days, 46. More than 3 months, no, was it more than 31 days? 0. More than 6 months ago? 0. And these are buyers. Followers, bearing in mind, was it new or started, or is no any buying status? I think I've got like over 2,000. It hit one person, and then more than 3 months ago, 57. So, but then Kaylee was saying here, this was about newsletters. It shows you the total reach. You can keep track. 4,000 plus people have received my newsletter in the last 10 days. More than 50% of them have opened it. So that's a mad open rate.
It was from eBay as well, so it doesn't come from Luke as a person. It comes from eBay, and that was the last email I got from Luke, 8th of September. And I've followed Luke's store, and I've also brought from Luke as well before. So that's my communication. I haven't had anything since the 8th.
Interesting. It's also what Katie says really interesting. That's big. Those are big numbers. Like 4,000 people in the last 10 days. I'm assuming. Kaylee, do you know where most of them come from? Does it say, because does it split by buyer group? Does it tell you, most of your followers are opening this, or most of the people that have bought from you in the last month are opening this? Because that's
the bottom part, though. The bottom part is the thing that really sticks out to me. More than 50% have opened it. Do you know how crazy that is for email?
They said it to me as well. That's what they said when they were quoting numbers about newsletters to me. They said, say it gets probably like a 50% open rate. And then, 17% of, say you then said like 7% of those people then go and make a purchase. Like, that's still great. So I don't know. They made it sound good. And obviously Kaylee's bigging it up. And as we know, we probably should have been doing it for ages, but one of us needs to do something so we get some evidence in here to prove it works or not, because we're just chatting right now.
It's part of my the tabs, the drop down tabs that you have. It's always been part of my like daily thing to do. So I buy groups and I go onto coupons, and I have newsletters below that. Never clicked it, I don't think, because I feel like I have to get back into that creative mindset when you don't really, because we've got tools like what James was speaking about. You can just get them to do a draft of it and then maybe change it once every so often. I don't know how Kaylee plays it, but I don't know if it's literally the same email that goes out every single day, or whether it's tweaked, or whether it's whatever. But if it was just a base thing, which it probably is, I don't do it.
The guy just said keep it simple. Like, you know how it is. People don't want to read, massive spiel about stuff. They just want to know what they're getting out of it, and what it's about. Like, so just keep it simple. Let them know the offer, and let them know what the offer's for, and that's all you really need. I can send them in the right direction, and if they're interested, they're interested. But yeah, the guy was much more useful than I thought, and I think going in with that approach of, okay, I'm not here for basic information on having a white background. I don't care. I want to know stuff, and he taught me some stuff I didn't know, which was really, really cool. And on top of that, he showed me, obviously he pulled up you can do a stagnant listing report, and I was like, I kind of know all that. And obviously I've started to sell similar recently, as a habit. I now want to continue to sell similar because I think it's worthwhile. He was like, yeah, relisting and stuff doesn't work because he said this. He said it doesn't give it a new item number, but sell similar does. So he quote unquote we've always had that idea saying eBay isn't stupid. Like, they know if it's the same item, blah, blah, blah. I don't think eBay cares. I think we've seen that eBay don't go that deep on a lot of stuff, and they don't care. And they said if they get a new item, and they're not going to try and recognize every single item. They're just going to be like, oh, okay, this person's sold a similar item to the last one, and that's re-indexed and gives you a better chance at sale. So he said that was worthwhile. And he was like, yeah, because again, after 90 days, it's a stagnant listing. I said, yeah, I'm on board with that. Understood. I'm trying that now to see kind of how it works. And he was basically like, yeah, that's probably what you should be doing. And then the last thing was they can generate keyword reports, which is really interesting for any category, and any subcategory. So say you take men's clothing and then do jumpers, they can generate a keyword report to tell you what people are searching, like exactly what people are searching, not like, oh, the projected searches, you know, when you type in the search bar and it starts suggesting things to you. But, oh, this is the most common thing someone is searching right now. And it gave me an example for women's clothing. Most of it was brands, and you can see how brands are ranked, and a lot of it shocked me. But also, I think the third result in that whole thing was dress, just dress by itself, which makes me think when you're looking at the results, what information is key to put in the front part of your listing? Because say the number 6 result is maxi dress, right? But I backload the keyword maxi instead of put it at the front, I would get better conversions if I put maxi at the front of my listing rather than the back, rather than going by the standard, you know, thing we're looking at. Say, you know, merino jumper in men's was heavily searched. I'd start front loading merino. I'd change my whole structure because that's going to convert way better. And I was like, can I get access to these reports? And he was like, no, you can't do them yourself. And I was like, why?
You got to pay £399 plus VAT a month, and they'll send you the report. That's the way.
But that was also super interesting to me, because again, that changes how you list things. Like, that's like, oh, I can make my title even better because I know what people are actually searching and what the most popular thing is, and it tells you sell-through rate of everything. So, for example, by the way, the third most popular women's clothing brand. Can you give me a guess, lads?
I'm going to say, I don't know, women's. I'm just going to say Primani, just because I work there at the weekends.
Yeah, no, not Primani. Luke, you got anything?
Third most women's. Is it like a general one that's like popular for men?
No more clues. Zara.
I'm just gonna go Nike.
Nike was no. Zara was close. Zara was like 5th, I think. It's Marks and Spencer's.
Tommy Trade's got it.
M&S.
Go. Bang on. It's Marks and Spencer's. Which
do you think that's a demographic of eBay though?
Yes. That's crazy though. Like, think about it. I go past Marks and Spencer's clothes all the time, and if you look at sell-through rate on stuff a lot of the time, it's in the bin. But they have the third most traffic to their brand out of any brand for women's clothing, which is mental. And it makes you think about what you're selling differently, because if clearly there's enough traffic and people wanting to buy that item that you just need to pick the good items out of Marks and Spencer's, which I'd normally ignore, and they're going to sell. It doesn't matter about sell-through rate. This brand is getting the third most traffic on the whole of eBay UK for women's clothing. And I walk past it every single day, except for cashmere.
What was the top 10? Have you got the top 10?
Off the top of my head, the top. So it went toast, which you probably heard of.
Surprise, yeah. Not toast, toast.
And I think it was then dress. I think dress was second or third. I can't remember which round. Sea salt. Then Marks and Spencer's. I think Zara was there somewhere. Ted Baker. Cezanne, and that's all I've got for you off the top of my head. But it was really interesting.
Very interesting.
So that's what I mean. On the Pro Trader program, they sent me that as well, the keyword report, but I couldn't generate it, and I don't know if I could get access to it now. But I think it's probably worth pinging the old manager an email and then just seeing if I can get it sent over, because that's such an advantage, being able to title your stuff. Because like you're saying there, if I was doing dresses, I would put maxi, I would backload it, say like after brand maybe, or after size or whatever's at the end. And the same with merino, I wouldn't put that at the front. I would put that after brand, say. But yeah, that's interesting. But I wanted to go on to a bit about you, mate, because we didn't even introduce you. We just went live, we just started chatting, because that's what we do, really. So
Benjy.
Yeah,
you just told me that you just told everyone he was at the casino till 4 a.m. That's about all.
And this is who we met. He was at the casino, and this is him.
Yeah, the perception is just like, who's this geezer? Like, just at the casino till like 5 a.m, like just running around asking people every question under the sun. But Yeah, because I mean, we met through the group, so you're obviously part of Tech and Sports group as well. But I'd say, I mean, a lot of the times in the group we spoke about like growth and getting to like crazy figures and like earning X amount and stuff like that. But I'd say you're a little bit different in that sense because, I mean, you ask a heck of a lot of questions, and I'd probably say, I don't know, what's the way to describe Benjy, James? Because I'm trying to think of it, and it's hard to do.
The most wait. If I was to describe Benjy to someone, I'd say the most chilled reseller. No, the most chilled reseller who's super successful. Because there's difference between being chilled and just ticking along and not really making much money and just blah blah blah. Benjy's chilled but makes a heck of a lot of money. Has incredible knowledge. The only person I see around the car boot, whether it's cold or boiling hot, who's wearing sliders around the car boot as well. The best hair in reselling. But no, jokes aside, he's got a really good attitude to reselling where you have fun doing it. That's the way I describe it. You have fun doing it. You don't take it too seriously, but you do really well. You're really successful at doing it. So yeah, that's how I would describe you. Weird in a good way, and weird's not horrible, but like you're so different to a typical reseller. If you had a drawing of a typical reseller, you are not the drawing.
Thanks.
That's a compliment.
That's sweet.
But yeah, what is your like? Because I mean, at the minute, I would say when it comes to like listings, I list 15 a day, and to be honest, like plans for growth at the minute, I'd probably like to get to around 20. But we've asked a lot of people on here what people like, what are they doing at the minute, what are their plans for the future. But I mean, every time I spoke to you, you're very, very chilled about it. So whereabouts are you at now in terms of like your listing? Huh?
Sorry. You see IP Initiative Insurance back to licensing. That's my mum. That's my mum.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, Benjy's mum.
So what's my goal, right?
That's made this so much better now.
Well, knowing that Benjy's mum's in here, he's about to describe himself. Okay, let's go.
You can ask her whatever you like. So what's my goal, right? So I was talking to John about this the other day, who's just popped in, funnily enough. Is like I'm not heavily motivated by too much stuff. Like money-wise, I'm not too motivated. And I don't really have right now anything that I have to fear paying. I'm in a pretty lucky position because I still live at home. I don't have, like crazy bills or anything that I need to worry about that drive me to, want to earn more money so I can look after, a family I don't have yet or whatever. But my goal generally is to be as financially comfortable in life with the least amount of effort. And that to me means just always making sure I'm happy with what I'm doing. So I don't want to get to the point where I burn myself out or force myself into a position where I have to wake up and be like, give the sigh every day you wake up, right? And go, oh, I gotta go do this again. But I don't want to ever get to that position, because what I know happens with me sometimes or previously is I get really interested in a subject, and then I'll all in on it. I'm all in. I'm researching it every day. I'm working my ass off. I love it. And then I'll get to the point where I'm like satisfied. I'm like, oh, I've kind of done what I wanted to do. And then I just stop. And my work ethic completely dies off. And I don't have the drive to, learn everything new, because I feel like I've got to the point where I've learned enough that I'm happy. And the reason why I love this job is partly because it makes you do stuff every day, right? Like you have to do things every single day. You have to find stuff to list. You have to do your postage. You have to put up the listings, and all these things make whatever it is you're working, which makes it really easy to build a habit and stick to it. Like now, I don't think about my days pretty much any day I wake up. I'm not like, oh, what do I have to do today? It's like, oh, it's a Tuesday. This is what I'm doing today. And it doesn't feel like I have to force myself to do anything I don't want to, because it's just part of my life. So, for example, when I did marketing, I would wake up and Luke, I don't know if Luke can speak for the same, is you do a campaign every now and then, right? Like once you put a marketing campaign live, you just kind of sit around and watch it. And obviously you can go out and get more clients or whatever, but you just kind of watch it. And and then later in the month, maybe you do another one, right? Which means you have no structured pattern a lot of the time. And it meant that I found myself, because my brain wasn't focused on doing the same thing every day, wandering off, and I'd lose interest very quickly. But that's why I love this business specifically, because it's really good at keeping you on track. I also really love being part of the community. And to be part of the community, I have to do the job, which is another driver. But generally, yeah, my goal is to think my way to not having to work anymore. And I've talked about it within the group a bit. Like, I'm not against outsourcing early and making this, taking the load off myself to be able to grow and freeing up more time to just be more relaxed. It's not like I even have anything to do, to be honest with you. Like, it's not like I do anything at home or I got any exciting hobbies outside of this. I just, like, it just makes sense to me in terms of enjoying my life and being free to kind of do whatever you want, is to make this as easy as possible and offload as much as you can so you get as much time freedom as possible. Because that's one thing you've said, James, right? Is postage wise, right? This job kind of locks you in. This is a very I have to be in the business every day type of job, doing stuff a lot of the time, especially solo anyway. You can't go traveling and do this job, in my opinion. You might be able to make it work, but you'd have to have some people to help you. But solo, you can't just leave for a month a lot of the time because it ruins your business for a while. You have to basically boot back up. It's a massive pain. So to get to the point, and even thinking about, going to the Open last week, I had to put effort in to work harder, to cover my ass to when I was at the Open, and for the next day, and for the next day partly, because I was like, I knew for Friday, I covered myself for Friday, I covered myself for Thursday, and I covered myself for a little bit the next day, just because I knew it wouldn't be straight back into routine.
You basically knew there was going to be a free bar, and you knew you'd probably end up in the pits on Friday, is what you mean.
Oh, mate, I haven't felt worse in a long time. It was me and Luke woke up and it was tragic.
Do you know what though? The freedom is so important. I've been thinking about this for ages, because I've always said that I feel like this job offers you a lot of freedom apart from the postage, because we ship same day, and I've considered going to 2-day dispatch to actually allow myself that time to be like, okay, I don't have to ship today. And Luke called me yesterday. I was chatting to him for a little bit, and I said, mate, I feel like I just need like a day off, because even though we went to the Open, it was like still a day of like doing stuff. I said to him, I just want a day where I just wake up and be like, do you know what? I've got nothing to worry about today. No eBay to worry about, no shipping to worry about, nothing. So I've scheduled out listings now up until Sunday at the moment. And I feel like such a weight has been lifted off my shoulders to know that every day my listings are scheduled at least, so I can come and do and add to the draft bank, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I still say to myself, tomorrow, I can't wake up and say it's a day off, because you still have to go and ship. You still have to go and drop the parcel. You still have to source. It never really stops completely. And I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to taking a day off, because I'll say, right, I'm having a day off tomorrow. And it'll get to about 11 o'clock and I'll be there and I'll be watching Netflix and I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to do a few lists. I'm just going to do a few. Like, I can't switch off completely. So do you allow yourself the time to actually have like a full day completely switched off from the work, from the business? Because even at weekends, mate, we don't have to ship, but we're at the car boots.
Doing this has made me worse at it, right? So I think there's another thing I worry about, that is, now that I do this every day and you've got the habit, right, it's so weird to not do anything, right? Like when you suddenly get given all your free time back, so say you want to take a day off, what you think about day to day is eBay, right? Like what you're doing every single day of your life is basically eBay. And if that just taken out your day, and if you try and replace it with something that's different, right? Like we go and do something then it's fine because you're still busy. If you're just sitting at home trying to relax, I'm glancing at my phone. I'm waiting for notifications to pop up. I'm checking, about how many sales I got that day. Make sure I'm sending out offers, and it feels different to how you used to. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to be able to go brain dead. Like I used to be able to sit at home and zone out completely. But now, if I do that for too long, it genuinely feels a bit awkward to me. It feels uncomfortable, and I'm still good. Like I'm still good at being like present in taking time off. I'm good at resting kind of actively and relaxing. But in terms of how it used to be and now, I can't. It's hard. Like if stop doing the thing you're doing every day is very, very difficult, especially when you've got it ingrained in you. For like, even for me, like you guys have been doing it longer than me. I've been doing this probably for like a year and a bit now. But straying from your habits is really difficult. Like it's your body fights against you, your brain fights against you when you're meant to be doing something different that day. And that's the other thing I worry about with like super hard graft working. If I build myself into the habit of working really, really hard every day, when I get my time for it to receive the fruits of my labor and relax, because I've worked my ass off, I deserve to relax now. I've made it. It's good. I don't think my brain's going to be able to just switch off and do that. I'm now coded to work hard every day, and that's what my body wants to do and does do. So to unpick that part of your brain is really difficult, and that's another thing why I always want to enjoy the work, because I don't want it to feel like I'm breaking myself every day to get to what I want, because I think you can do both. I think you can be successful in business, especially this one. It's not the most time consuming. Doesn't take the most work in the world. You can build this up smartly and casually to get to where you want to be without breaking yourself. But it depends on your time limit, right? And kind of how long you want to do it in. If you want to be that person, like you can put this effort into this thing for a couple of years, build it massive, and then chill. But I just don't think that's ever going to happen in my life. I don't think I'm ever going to get to a point where I'm just going to chill. Like there'll always probably be something active I'm doing, like work. We want something to do every day. Life is boring if you don't have anything to do any day. So you might as well make your work interesting for you as you go along. Is kind of my general idea of things.
I think I'm exactly like you as well. I can't just do zero. That's the thing. Like if I have a full day off, you best believe like I need to go play golf. I need to be, say, like out with Luce, to say like a trip into London or something like that. So I'm not just like glued to my phone, because when I'm here, and say if I did have a day off, I'd be thinking, why don't I just do some work? Like just get ahead, get an extra days in the draft or something like that. But I don't dislike this. I don't hate it. I actually really enjoy it. So if I'm here and I've got nothing to do, I'm going to do the thing that I probably enjoy. Like I enjoy. I could sit, watch YouTube. I've been into this geezer called Beard Meets Food. I've been obsessed with his videos lately. I just binge watch the guy. So apart from like, I don't even know why I do it. I just sit there every night with Luce and we watch this guy do food challenges. It's unreal. So if I weren't doing this, I'd be doing that because I really enjoy that. But that's the thing. We've seen it from Tech. What you just said there, stepping away from basically going hard. He went hard for what, 15 years, something like that. And now he goes hard still at flea markets, but traveling. So he's always doing stuff. And yeah, I would find it incredibly difficult to walk away. But it's a question that Simon always asks as well. And he's always like, like your focus, like your goals is like, is it growth or is it like work-life balance? And the way that you pictured it there, like you could go crazy for 5-10 years and then receive the fruits of your labor and then maybe like chill later on in life. But are you more of the kind of like steady growth, or you just keep it so that you always enjoy it? Because I think John put in here, apart from try meditation, which is unreal, by the way, your goal is to enjoy life and enjoy new experiences. So you're just all about enjoying this process, but are you still wanting to? Because obviously when it comes to you moving into a place, there's going to have to be some sort of step up, isn't there? Just purely because you need to be covering mortgage, covering rent, all that kind of good stuff as well. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
So I still have pretty big aspirational goals, right? I don't, although I'm not super money motivated, I know how important it is for money to be part of your life and make you be able to live the life that's comfortable to you, right? A fear of mine is like that I'm not going to work hard enough, and then I'm going to have to deal with problems later down the line that because I didn't work hard enough. So if you work super hard now and cover your ass, yeah, you've worked hard and kind of missed that part of your life, but later on you don't have to worry. There's so much worry that comes with money, right? And money is a big problem within relationships, within personal feelings, and how you feel day to day, and the stress you feel from life. If you just tick that box for being comfortable, your life becomes a million times easier so quickly. So I still want to be a high earner, and I still want to have a money that's comfortable and allow me, I want to have experiences in life. I want to be able to go and do what I want to do without having to worry about it. So I know that money is an important factor in that, but getting there, I don't want to do it unenjoyably. I'm not in a rush. I understand that I've got it. One, it takes time. I feel like nowadays, especially, you look around and there's 20-year-olds earning £1 million, doing e-commerce stuff, and you're like, whoa, that's what am I doing? Blah blah blah. Whereas if you look at general millionaires and people like that, it takes time. It's not a quick process. So as long as I see myself progressing in the right direction, whilst living how I want to live, I'm happy. If I get stagnant because I'm too comfortable, that's different. But as long as I slowly am progressing in the right direction, and I'm enjoying my life and happy and not hating my job, that's the goal. And it might take longer than it should, but if I'm enjoying it on the way, there's no problem. It's not a problem. So that I still want to get to the higher echelons, and it's not like I sit here and don't think about how to be better at business. You hear me talk about all the time, all these different things that I like thinking about, because I think that's part of the fun of business, right? Is growing. The sense of achievement from growing your own business is a massive part of working for yourself. And it feels bad when you don't grow sometimes. If you sit there and look at the same numbers for a year straight, and you've tried, it just doesn't feel great. Whereas I'm sure, although you might be detached from your numbers slightly or whatever, when you see the numbers go up, it feels good. It's that simple, right? So having that problem solving part of thing, I want to grow my business. I'm not the best at implementing, and when I do implement stuff, it takes me a bit of time. But once I get it going, once it's in, it's good. It's worked into my schedule. I'm enjoying it, and the business is going in the right direction. So that's kind of the gist of things. I want to do it. I want to get there. I'm not adverse to being, high achieving or whatever, but I want to do it in a way that I enjoy. And me personally, grinding that out in a short period, and it is not my way of doing things.
So Luke and I spoke about it a number of times with regards to the importance of a support network around you. We've spoke many times about how we've got supportive partners, and we feel that's very important when you're doing this kind of job. You mentioned you don't do anything else outside of eBay, in a sense. I'm sure you do lots of other things. And you've got a lovely partner. I've met her a number of times. She's a better source than you, by all accounts, at the car boot. She finds the good stuff. But what do you do outside of your eBay time? And does eBay work ever creep into your personal life in that sense with your partner?
So one thing I do think is a problem of being too lax is if you're too lax, like I am sometimes, and quite often, eBay creeps over. It has to, because, for example, a lot of the time I end up doing my listings. I take photos when I'm here, and then I'll do listings at home. Mm-hmm. And with my mum or with my partner, I like to chill and watch TV at night. Me and my mum normally have a series we're watching, and I enjoy spending that time. And I enjoy watching and talking about stuff like that. But so a lot of the time recently, I have to do my listings whilst I'm doing that, which again just adds the kind of level of disconnect that isn't great. And sometimes, like when I go to see my partner or whatever, I could have my listings done, but because I've been too relaxed with my day, I haven't quite finished them, and that takes up a little bit of time that it technically doesn't need to. And obviously there's the responding, like looking at offers and responding to messages type stuff. That I'm not too bad with. Like, you just flip your phone over and ignore it type stuff. And since I've turned off my email notifications, funny enough, was the big one for me. I don't know if you noticed this, but the eBay app is actually really bad at delivering you notifications a lot of the time.
Yeah, emails are constant though.
The emails, they smash you out. Any offer, anything, they smash you out, and that always used to pop up. So I turned off my eBay email notifications, which has made it a lot better at me checking my phone. And when I go on my phone, I'll be like, oh, I've got some notifications on eBay, I'll go check that out. But generally, it's I think the one thing where eBay does creep over is, from me, it's my fault. I'm too relaxed sometimes, and that means work that I could have got done at the unit, like now, is creeping over to when I get home, and that shouldn't be the case. Sometimes it's inevitable, and it's one of those days where I've been out all day sourcing, and then we come on a call, and then I get distracted, and then it's like harder to get everything done. Like Thursdays, for example, is a busy day for me. But yeah, I think if eBay does creep over, it's my fault. It's normally my doing from not putting enough effort in. But generally outside of eBay, I just chill. I'm pretty chill. I don't get up. I used to be a hardcore gamer, but I can't do that because I'll get lost in it, and then nothing will get done. So I have to quit cold turkey on that thing. I love a day where I'm free enough in this and I don't have to worry about the next day, where I can go back and not have to worry about that. Interesting enough, that's kind of a goal, is to, if I ever do want to go back and do something like that, then I've put myself in a position where I'm allowed to do that. They talk about earning your free time and stuff like that. That's my version of that for me. And if I can earn the position where I can do that and not have to worry anymore, because that's one of the things I used to love doing. Because I'm generally competitive and I played every sport under the sun, and and then also gamed. Like, those are things I enjoy doing. Then I don't have to worry anymore, and that's kind of the goal, is to have the stability and set up the structure in place for where I can enjoy myself without hesitation and worrying about the fact that I'm not doing what I meant to do.
I love that, and I love the fact of you coming on the podcast today has given you an extra 4 hours on your working day today. So you can thank Luke for inviting you on.
True.
Wait. Yeah, I'm a bit like that as well, though. I mean, we used to speak about the sourcing side of it because we was obviously doing it on Vinted a lot of the time. And I think even if we get the amount that we needed to get, even when it came to the evening and weekends, like, I would watch football whilst doing it. We'd have something on, so like we're watching YouTube or whatever. I would be on that at the same time, and it was cutting into the quality time between like me and Luce. So yeah, that's why I'm massive now on getting everything done while she's at work. So then basically everything's done. By the time she comes back, by the time we have dinner, it's like everything's done. There is absolutely no need for me to go on the app unless I'm like replying to messages or counter offers or whatever. My work needs to be done because I can't have anything impacting that time anymore. And it was, going through that was actually quite helpful. So yeah.
I think that's massive, right? And I think that's a big thing I need to work on. So it's all good, my attitude being, chill, relax, blah, blah, blah. At points it's not useful. Like it's a double-edged sword sometimes, where if you're too chill, and even in life, right? If situations you should I should care about, sometimes I don't, because I'm just like, I'm not bothered by it. And I don't get it done quickly enough, even though I should. So, for example, my passport has been out of date for like the whole summer. And I don't know if my mum's still here, but she's been going on at me. And my missus have been going on at me about getting my passport sorted. But I'm like, it's all right. We'll get it sorted eventually. We'll do it. I haven't done anything. I need to get it sorted. But yeah, it's a double-edged sword. So this is where I think the philosophy of tech comes in hard, right? Is when you're working, because there's something to be said for getting it done and getting it out the way. But the only problem sometimes with that is it just leads you to do more work. But then also getting it done and out the way, you're free to live your life. It opens up. I'm just firing shots at me.
I don't know how you're so chill. Like, hearing you say that stresses me out. I feel like I need to now come and do that for you, because I'm the complete opposite. And I know you've got a chill personality, but even on Friday when we're up, we're like, right, we're off, we're going, and you're just like, oh, it's fine, I'm just gonna chill in bed a bit more. Like, you have such a chilled personality, and I'm jealous of that a lot of the time. Because sometimes everything for me is super serious, and it doesn't have to be.
It's like I said, it's double-edged, right? Like, in the same way, there's probably a benefit to being worried about stuff, because again, like you said, it makes you get stuff done. You know, you're moving, you're doing stuff, and I'm the opposite, right? Like, although I can deal with some stressful situations, a lot of the time I neglect a lot of stuff because it's not of importance to me. Like, it doesn't stress me out. And I was saying this again to, I think, John the other day. Stressors, like fear, is one of the biggest motivators in the world. In terms of doing stuff every day or making decisions, fear is probably the biggest motivator that drives everyone in this world. And if without it, you just don't do a lot of the stuff you should be doing. Which again it's a double-edged sword. Like, it's beneficial for some things, and then it's useless for other things.
I wanted to get on what Simon was saying here, and I have this as well. And so he's on holiday now. He's been away for 3 days. My body's basically shut down. I'm so ill. And when I switch off, and it's probably the reason why I don't, even when I go away now, we mainly go city breaks. I mean, I don't think I've been on a beach holiday for a very long time. But I have to be walking around. I have to be active. I have to be doing stuff, because when I sit down, I get ill as well. And he just followed up with this. He was like, I was speaking to my wife and friends last night, and they recognise that I never switch off. They don't think it's healthy. I mean, what Simon does, like, for anyone who doesn't know, you probably do, but he's one of the most consistent people when it comes to YouTube. And he's also at a very high level when it comes to eBay as well. So I don't know how he has any free time at all with the amount of output that he's doing. But yeah, like, I'd get on, mate.
I mean, Simon, I'm gonna lie to you. I think you know that. Like, I think we've talked about it before. I think you've even talked about it on this podcast before. I can't remember. But you don't switch off. But I partly get Simon a bit more, because obviously you're an older gentleman at this point, and you want to retire and you want to chill. And to you that means you have to work your ass off to get there before it's too late, or so you can have that time. So I get that, right? And like, all of us us three have got time, and like, what's the average age to retire now? 65 or something like that. It's interesting to think about. Can you imagine doing eBay for the next 30 years? Like, can you imagine sitting here and doing this for 30 years? Isn't that mental?
There's no. I used to think I'd want to, but there's no way now. No way now.
Why is that?
Because I want to. I've been quite open. I have aspirations, and we spoke about this on the car phone, the Factory Open. If you had two choices, if I asked Diamond the question, if he could make the same money doing YouTube that he could on eBay, would he do eBay? And he was like, no. And I'm the same. If I can make the same money I can do on YouTube, eBay for me would turn back into that casual thing I do at the weekends. I go to the car boot sale, buy a few things just for fun. I cannot see myself doing this job for 30 years. I think I would honestly go insane.
What? So would you just do YouTube because it's easier?
I don't think it's easier. It's different. It's what you enjoy more. Like, you talk about the times where you never wake up and have that, got to go and do this today. I get that sometimes. That creeps in.
Oh, it happens.
And you know what? It's not even the listings. It's not even the shipping. It's the photos. Sometimes I think to myself, I'm dreading going down the shed to do the photos. And that's my hardest thing I have to do, I feel, on eBay. Just because I don't enjoy it. So do I see myself on this podcast in 30 years' time with Luke and you? Remember this time you said 30 years ago? Probably will be here, but yeah, I can't see myself doing this for 30 years. I see it as a platform to earn me the money I need to earn. I've now accepted I'm not going to be a multi-billionaire on eBay. I've accepted I'm okay with that. But also then to use it as a driver to allow me to do other things.
I'm with you there, right? And it's something I don't know how many people generally look at it here or think about it. But I think about it a lot recently that obviously we all have bigger goals generally. But it's also how interestingly we talk about just being solo eBayers. I don't know. It's like a locked in brain thing, right? Like all of us generally, how we speak, we don't talk about building a business sometimes, right? Because in my head, a business is you employ people, you work, you become the owner of the business. You don't work in the business every single day. Your job is to oversee and create something that you manage to earn you money, and again, free yourself up to have more time and do what you want to do, or pursue other things, like you said, like other avenues. But I feel like a lot of us are locked into the mentality of being this solo person doing eBay for however long it takes. And we all talk about, oh, my goal is to do this many listings a day or this many listings a day. And if I can get to this, that's great. But you don't really talk about people making it into a proper business, which means I feel like it's going to be hard to escape if you don't change that mentality. If you forever think you're going to be doing this by yourself, or you stay in that mentality, it's going to be so hard to free up time at any point. Because if you want to grow, you're going to have to put more effort in. If you want to earn more, you're going to have to put more effort in if you're solo. But if you can start to outsource things and kind of, get your head out of looking at this from your own perspective and look at it from like how do I grow this into a business perspective, it means you don't have to do the photos anymore. You don't have to sigh. You might still do something else, but if you free up that time, then you can get more stuff in, blah, 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 blah. And eventually you get to the point where you can pursue other avenues. And although eBay might not be the way you're going to be a multi-billionaire, there's something else in it that you can free up your time to find that thing that will get you to the higher place, maybe. Because eBay is just really good at generating money for you. And if you can utilize it in the right way, you can get yourself to wherever you want, really. Like that. We're business owners, but we don't just have to be eBay business owners. You can start anything you want. You're not locked into this forever. And if you can find something better that makes more sense for you, it might be YouTube. For someone else, it might be, like take a gardening company. It might be that it might not earn as much. Obviously, he made his eBay business into a real operation. But yeah, you need to be able to free yourself up to make the decisions that are going to benefit you. And if you always think about yourself as this solo workhorse, it's going to be hard. So something I'm working on at the moment is thinking about how to make this into something I don't have to be the main cog for.
We spoke about that before, because it seems very simple to do it in a marketing sense as well. It might be slightly harder doing it in this, but James has experienced that recently where, say something like that, you had help with getting up the Halloween stuff, and you see how basically you can crack on with something else whilst they're doing the picturing, and it helped massively. Like, it was your niece, wasn't it, doing it?
Oh, really? Yeah. You've got child labor involved?
Pure child labor. She's been begging me for ages to come and help me, and I've not really had much for her to do, because my dream, if someone said to me my dream on eBay, it would be 15 a day, but all of the listings go live on Monday and Tuesday. So I would get help in for the photos on Monday, Tuesday. While they're doing the photos, it gets transferred to me. I list on eBay, and that's it. So the rest of the week is then freed up to source and do other things I want to do outside of eBay. The shipping always comes back into it, but that's another story. But yeah, she's been begging for ages, and she came over on a Sunday and she done 200 sets of photos.
That's mental.
Because it's not, remember, everything's new in the packet. So picture front, close up of the size, picture back, close up of the size guide, and then picture dispute. So 5 photos per listing, basically.
Nice.
So that made it a lot quicker. But I said to Luke at the end of the day, it was such a relief to be able to then on Monday have 200 sets of photos on the laptop. While she was doing that, I was drafting the item anyway. So on Monday, it was literally just drag. And I listed, what did I list on that Monday? I think I'd done 200 listings live on the Monday, just put them all up because I'm against the time a little bit. But even last night when we were watching TV, I said to Leanne, I'm going to do the photos. And so I'd done like 45 sets of photos just while watching TV, which is great. But if I could outsource that photo part, I think my business would go to a whole new level because I would have so much more time to actually source better items as well. The difficult thing with recruiting members of staff and coming from a HR and recruitment point of view, that causes so many more headaches as well. Because if your staff member does not turn up, if they call in sick, guess what? You've got to then fit that into your week, and you might have other plans, etc. Where having someone in the family where it is pure child labour, I don't mind saying, earns her a bit of pocket money to help me out. She'll come over every couple of weeks when needed. That for me works now. But in the future, yeah, I agree. I think I would want to hire help within it, which will allow me to do other stuff outside of eBay.
But so even there, right? Like you add the fear that you're going to have to, like the fear that, oh God, my staff member might not turn up and you have to go back into your business for God forbid a day. It's not like, it's just a fear you kind of give yourself because it's like a step that you're uncomfortable with, right? Like you don't want to deal with that possibility, but it's not really that, like, that's like a really, if you look at the grand scheme of things, it's like insignificant.
That's one example though, because a lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm going to hire staff and think it's just as easy as just that. I'm going to hire staff. I'm going to give them some money. They're going to do work. There's so much that goes around it, even health and safety at home, like stupid things. Like for instance, can they walk down my garden safely? Well, we've got one paving slab that's slightly dislodged. We'll have to get that fixed up. So it's not just go onto Indeed today, write an advert, looking for a photographer to come and do 300 sets of photos a week. You need to be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday between these hours. We're going to pay you £8 an hour or £1 a photo, wherever it may be. There's so much more that goes into recruiting someone that a lot of people just don't see it. Hence why for me to give her £20 or £30 to help me for a morning and saves me so much time, like I'm happy to do that right now. It's no different to her like walking my dog. I haven't got a dog. Walking a cat. So just to think about that. I love the idea of doing it, but there is so much that goes into hiring a member of staff officially on the books.
I think, yeah, I agree, right? But I consider it like a learning curve, right? Like how much effort you need to put in and find out what it actually entails to have a member of staff. But once you've like got it sorted, it's sorted, right? Like it's not, if you've got your safe work environment, obviously you've got to think about like PAYE and stuff like that, and what that looks like. But I think letting that the fear of doing all the extra steps stop you from achieving your next step is like the trade-off is an easy decision in my opinion. Like in terms of trading it off for actually growing your business, I think sorting that out is interesting.
Yeah, so, yeah. I think you're right. It is that trade-off, but I also look at my business at the moment and say I'm not financially in a position where I should be hiring members of staff.
Yeah.
I just need to do the work myself and suck it up, and that's what we do on a daily basis. So it's quite interesting when you maybe hit the point of feeling like, do you know what, this is my moment now to look at getting some help, whether it be one day a week, half a day a week, whatever it may be. So
yeah, I'm with you. All I'm saying is that I think on a personal note, I need to change how I'm looking at myself and how I want to work in the future. Because right now, all I see in front of me is, oh, how far can I go? How many listings can I do right now? How much can I type stuff. And to get like where you're talking about and get free and enjoy yourself and change your life like it can't be just an I thing. Like I have to figure it out.
Yeah, I feel like I'd have to be at like breaking point to then bring someone in just to feel really comfortable with someone else, like paying someone else pretty much. Because I would never want it to be like, oh shit, like I could just be doing this by myself. So I'd want to be literally at breaking point, then bring someone in, free up time, and then maybe look to kick on. But it's like what we were speaking about earlier. It's just where you want to go with this. Like, do you want to be that sole person that, you know, you have to basically do everything, or do you want to bring, say, one, maximum two people in or something like that and make things a little bit easier, maybe making similar, if not a little bit more money, but with more time? So, yeah, I think we'll leave it there because this is definitely the longest one by a mile. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but yeah, you don't have YouTube. You're not really that active on Instagram either, are you? Do you think that will change, or are you just gonna stay as you are?
I like not having to worry about any of that stuff. Like, social media isn't for me. I don't care. Like, I don't really care. And even my Insta, like, obviously you boys have all got your reselling Instas and everything like that. Mine's just my personal Insta. So I get follow requests from this. Don't be offended if I don't accept it, because you'll see pictures of my feet there that you don't want to see. And there'll be nothing else.
He's not lying either.
So yeah, I don't see it change. I might make a reselling Insta, but I got no motivation to ever like start that avenue. I love hearing stuff like this. I love having a chat or whatever, but I don't think it's for me personally.
Yeah. Okay then, mate. Right. I'll leave you to it, boys. But yeah, appreciate everyone in the chat. And I don't know who. I think we'll probably have a just me and James on next week, but we'll let you know in advance what we're going to be chatting about. But yeah, let's go do some actual work, eh?
Yeah, let's actually go and do the work. I'm moaning about we've got time and we're chatting here for an hour and 45 minutes. Right.
Crazy. Right. Peace.
Peace.